Life is not a straight road. It's a path filled with hills, valleys, storms, and moments where you feel like quitting. Everyone at some point reaches a stage where the pain feels unbearable, the challenge feels too heavy, and the progress feels too slow. It's slow. In these moments, the voice inside whispers, a stop, give up. It's not worth it. But that is exactly when you must push through it. Because the most beautiful victories in life are on the other side of discomfort. The pain you feel today will be the strength you carry tomorrow. The doubt that clouds your mind will turn into the confidence that lights your way. When you push through the fear, you discover courage. When you push through the fatigue, you discover your limits were only illusions. When you push through the heartbreak, you learn that you can rebuild stronger than before. Life will test you, not to break you, but to prepare you. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. And the truth is, you are stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and more capable than you imagine. So when the world feels heavy, push through it. When the doors seem closed, push through it. When your mind says, I can't, push through it. Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side. The path will not be easy, but it will be worth it. And one day you will look back and thank yourself for not quitting when it hurt the most. Because that moment of pushing, right there, was the moment you became unstoppable. Challenges are part of life's journey. Obstacles are not signs to quit, but tests to strengthen you. The toughest moments are the turning points. Breakthroughs happen right after the moments you want to quit. Pain today becomes strength tomorrow. Struggles build resilience, character, and courage. Fear is the gate to growth. When you push through fear, you discover your true capabilities. Setbacks are setups for comebacks. Every failure holds the seed of a greater victory. Discomfort is where transformation happens. Growth only occurs when you step out of your comfort zone. Belief is your greatest weapon. Your mind will give up before your body does. Train it to believe. Persistence outshines talent. Consistency and determination will take you further than skill alone. You are stronger than you think. Human potential is unlocked in moments of struggle. Victory belongs to the relentless, those who keep going. No matter how slow, always reach their goal. Challenges are not accidents. They are not mistakes. They are built into the very fabric of life. From the moment you take your first step as a child, you are faced with obstacles, falling, stumbling, learning to get back up. In fact, the process of growth itself is impossible without some form of challenge. The universe has a way of shaping you, molding you, and testing you through difficulties. It's almost as if life is a training ground where every trial you face is a lesson disguised in discomfort. When you look at any great success story, you'll notice a common thread. They all faced hardships. The most successful people in the world did not reach the top by avoiding challenges. They embraced them. They understood that difficulties are not roadblocks to stop you. They are stepping stones to elevate you. Every mountain you climb gives you a better view of the world. Every battle you fight leaves you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next. If you expect life to be smooth, you will be disappointed. There will be moments where plans fall apart, people let you down, and circumstances don't go your way. But here's the truth. Life's challenges are not here to punish you. They are here to prepare you. You may not see the purpose in the middle of the struggle, but when you look back, you'll realize that every challenge was shaping your character, building your resilience, and making you more capable of handling bigger opportunities. Think about a diamond. It doesn't start out as something beautiful and polished. It begins as a piece of coal buried deep in the earth. Only through intense heat and pressure does it transform into its final valuable form. You are the same. The heat of difficulties and the pressure of challenges are what bring out your brilliance. Without them, you would remain the same, never discovering your full potential. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid difficulty. They want the easy way, the shortcut, the path with no resistance. But here's the problem. An easy life doesn't create strong people. If you never stretch yourself, if you never face something that scares you, frustrates you, or pushes you, you will never grow. Strength is born in struggle. Confidence is born in survival. Wisdom is born in experience. Challenges also reveal who you truly are. It's easy to be positive when everything is going right. It's easy to smile when the sun is shining and the road is clear. But who are you when the storm comes? Who are you when the lights go out? When the doors close, when your plans collapse? That's when your true character is tested. You don't really know your strength until being strong is your only option. There's a story of bamboo that illustrates this perfectly. Bamboo takes years to grow underground before it ever breaks through the surface. During that time, it looks like nothing is happening, but beneath the soil, it is developing a strong root system to support rapid growth later. Once it finally breaks through, it can grow several feet in just weeks. Life's challenges work in the same way. You might not see progress while you're struggling, but beneath the surface, you are building roots, discipline, patience, and resilience that will allow you to grow faster and stronger later. Another powerful truth is that challenges are not only inevitable, they are necessary. If you've ever worked out at a gym, you know that muscles only grow when they are put under resistance. Without resistance, they remain the same. Life works the same way. Challenges are the resistance that builds the muscles of your character. They stretch you, force you to adapt, and push you beyond your comfort zone. One of the greatest shifts in perspective you can make is to stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me? What is this teaching me?" When you see challenges as teachers instead of enemies, everything changes. You no longer run from difficulty. You learn from it. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as a student of life. And just like in school, the harder the test, the more valuable the lesson. History is filled with examples of people who turned their challenges into triumphs. Helen Keller was deaf and blind, yet she became a world-renowned author and activist. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet emerged to lead South Africa to freedom. J.K. Rowling faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter became one of the most successful book series in history. What made these people extraordinary was not the absence of challenges, but their refusal to be defeated by them. If you think about it, challenges are like storms at sea. They can be terrifying, and they can rock your boat, but they also make you a better sailor. Calm waters never taught anyone how to navigate. It's the storms that teach you how to steer, how to hold on, and how to find your way when you can't see the shore. So, when challenges come, and they will, remember that they are not interruptions in your journey. They are part of the journey. They are the very moments that shape your destiny, forge your strength, and prepare you for the future you desire. Life has a way of testing you right before it rewards you. The moments that feel the hardest, the ones where you're drained, discouraged, and ready to walk away, are often the exact moments when you are standing closest to a breakthrough. It's as if life whispers, "Let's see if you truly deserve what you've been working for," right before the reward is within reach. If you've ever run a long-distance race, you know there's a point where your body screams at you to stop. Your lungs burn, your legs feel heavy, and every step feels like a battle. This moment is known to athletes as the wall. But those who push past that wall often experience a sudden burst of energy, a second wind that carries them further than they thought possible. Life's challenges work the same way. The point where you feel like quitting is the point where transformation begins. The toughest moments are uncomfortable because they push you beyond the limits you've set for yourself. They challenge your beliefs about what you can handle. They strip away your illusions of control and force you to decide. Will you let this break you, or will you let it make you? And the choice you make in that moment determines your future more than any easy day ever will. Think about a seed buried in the soil. Before it becomes a plant, it must first break apart. The shell cracks open under pressure, and the sprout pushes through the heavy dirt above it. That moment, dark, crushing, and difficult, is the turning point where life begins. Without the breaking, there is no growth. Without the struggle, there is no emergence into the light. The reason the toughest moments are so powerful is because they reveal your level of commitment. Anyone can stay committed when the journey is smooth, when results are quick, and when applause is loud. But true commitment is proven when everything seems to be against you. when there's no guarantee of success, when your efforts seem invisible, and when the temptation to quit is overwhelming. If you can remain committed in those moments, you've already crossed a threshold most people never reach. History is full of stories where the darkest hours came right before the breakthrough. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure must have felt like proof that it wasn't working. But his toughest moments, the ones where the results didn't match the effort, were the exact moments he was inching closer to success. Even nature reflects this truth. The dawn comes after the darkest part of the night. The ground becomes fertile after the storm. The most vibrant rainbows appear after the heaviest rain. It's almost as if the universe is coded with this principle: pressure before progress, struggle before success. In our personal lives, we often can't see how close we are to a turning point because we're too focused on the pain of the moment. Imagine a miner digging for gold. He digs for days, months, or even years, hitting nothing but rock. Exhaustion sets in and he's ready to quit. But what he doesn't realize is that he's only inches away from striking the richest vein. Many people stop digging right before the treasure appears. That's why persistence in the face of difficulty is so crucial. It's not that challenges vanish if you keep going, it's that you become strong enough to overcome them. And in that process, your toughest moments transform into defining moments. Years later, when you look back, you won't remember every easy day, but you will remember the battles you fought, the nights you cried, the mornings you doubted yourself, and you'll realize those moments were the exact points when your life shifted. The human spirit has an extraordinary ability to adapt and push forward. Science calls it resilience. Faith calls it perseverance. Experience calls it grit. Whatever name you give it, it is built in the fires of difficulty. The toughest moments are the forge where your courage is shaped, your patience is stretched, and your faith is tested. They're the extra hour you put into your work when you're tired. They're the phone call you make to ask for help instead of isolating yourself. They're the workout you finish even when your muscles ache. These small acts of endurance, stacked day after day, are what turn the tide in your favor. So when you're in the middle of your toughest moments, remember this: they're not the end of the road. They are the bending point where the road starts to lead upward. The pressure you feel is the sign that change is happening beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. And the breakthrough you've been waiting for might be just one more push away. Pain is one of life's most misunderstood teachers. Most people see pain as something to avoid at all costs, something negative that should be escaped as quickly as possible. But in reality, pain is one of the greatest forces for growth we will ever experience. The discomfort you feel today, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, has the power to become the strength you carry for the rest of your life. Think about the process of building muscle. When you lift weights, you are literally causing microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. In that moment, your muscles are weakened. They are sore. They hurt. But during rest and recovery, the body repairs those fibers, making them thicker and stronger than before. Without that initial pain, there is no growth. The very thing that feels like damage is actually the foundation for new strength. Life works the same way. Every setback, every heartbreak, every failure is like that moment of tearing in the muscle. It feels destructive, it feels weakening. But what's actually happening is preparation for something greater. The pain you're experiencing is a signal that transformation is underway. Emotional pain, for example, is often the birthplace of resilience. When you go through a loss, a betrayal, or a disappointment, it can feel like the world has stopped. But over time, you begin to adapt. You find new ways to cope, you develop empathy, and you learn to stand on your own feet. That strength doesn't come from the good times. It is forged in the fire of your hardest experiences. Even mental pain, stress, pressure, mental exhaustion can become a tool for growth. Imagine a student preparing for an important exam. The long nights of study, the frustration of not understanding certain concepts, the pressure of time, all of it feels like strain in the moment. But when the day of the exam comes, that mental endurance becomes an asset. Without the struggle, the ability to focus under pressure would never have developed. Pain also has a way of teaching you lessons that comfort never could. Comfort can keep you where you are, content but stagnant. Pain pushes you to change, to seek solutions, to improve yourself. When a situation becomes too uncomfortable to bear, you are forced to act. You make decisions you wouldn't have made otherwise. You take steps toward a better future because staying the same hurts too much. This is why so many people look back on their hardest seasons and say, "That was the time I grew the most." In the moment, it didn't feel like growth. It felt like breaking. But later, they realized that every ounce of pain was shaping them into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. What once felt unbearable becomes a badge of honor, proof that they can endure and overcome. Nature gives us endless examples of this truth. Consider the caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar essentially breaks down into a soup-like state before reforming into something entirely new. It's a process of total destruction before creation. If you were to open the cocoon too early to help the butterfly escape the struggle, it would never develop the strength in its wings needed to fly. That struggle is the very thing that prepares it for the freedom ahead. The same principle applies to us. When life puts us through challenges, we might wish for the struggle to be over quickly. But rushing the process can rob us of the very strength we're meant to gain. It's in enduring the full weight of the challenge that we discover the depth of our strength. Pain also teaches gratitude in a way nothing else can. When you've been through hardship, you learn to appreciate the moments of peace, joy, and success far more deeply. Victory feels sweeter when you remember the battles you had to fight to earn it. Fulfillment feels richer when you know the emptiness that once existed in its place. And perhaps most importantly, pain can transform into a source of power not just for you, but for others. Many of the most inspiring leaders, mentors, and motivators didn't rise to influence because their lives were easy. They rose because they turned their struggles into a message, their wounds into wisdom. They know what it's like to be broken, and that knowledge allows them to lift others who are going through the same. So while pain is never pleasant, it is rarely pointless. It can be the very force that molds you into the person you were meant to become. Today's tears may be tomorrow's confidence. Today's frustration may be tomorrow's focus. Today's exhaustion may be tomorrow's unstoppable drive. Fear is often seen as an enemy, something that holds us back, something to avoid. But in reality, fear is one of the clearest signals that growth is near. Fear is a doorway, and on the other side of that doorway is a stronger, bolder, more capable version of yourself. The challenge is that most people turn around the moment they see the door, never realizing that it was the entrance to everything they wanted. When you think about it, fear shows up most often when you are about to step into the unknown. It's not usually present when you're doing something familiar and comfortable. You don't feel afraid brushing your teeth, making your bed, or walking the same route to work. You feel fear when you're about to do something that could change your life. Speaking in front of an audience, starting a business, confessing your feelings to someone, or making a major life decision. The reason fear appears in those moments is because your mind is sensing potential risk and uncertainty. But it's also sensing potential growth. Fear is a signpost that says, pay attention, this moment matters. If you run away every time you feel afraid, you train yourself to live in a shrinking world, limited by the boundaries of your comfort zone. But when you choose to walk toward your fear instead of away from it, you expand those boundaries. You discover that many of the monsters you imagined were just shadows, and that your capacity is far greater than you thought. Psychologists often talk about their comfort zone, their fear zone, and their growth zone. The comfort zone is where you feel safe, but nothing changes. The fear zone is the space just beyond that, where you feel uncertain, nervous, maybe even terrified. And beyond that fear zone lies the growth zone, where transformation happens, where your skills sharpen, where opportunities multiply. The only way to reach that growth zone is to go through fear. Every significant achievement in history required someone to face fear. The first astronauts who left Earth didn't know if they'd return. The first explorers who sailed across oceans didn't know if they'd find land. The first inventors who tried to create new machines didn't know if they'd fail in front of the world. Yet they stepped forward anyway. They understood that fear wasn't a signal to stop. It was a signal to prepare, to be alert, to move forward with courage. One powerful thing about fear is that it often exaggerates reality. Your mind imagines worst-case scenarios, most of which never happen. But by focusing on those imagined disasters, you can paralyze yourself before you even begin. The antidote is action. When you take even a small step toward what you fear, the fear begins to lose its grip. Action builds familiarity, and familiarity dissolves fear. Consider someone who has stage fright. The first time they step onto a stage, their heart races, their palms sweat, and their mind screams to run. But the more they do it, the less intimidating it becomes. The fear may never vanish completely, but it transforms into excitement, into focus, into a powerful energy they can channel. Fear also teaches you about yourself in a way comfort never can. When you face fear, you learn your real limits, not the ones your mind invented, but the true boundaries of what you can handle. More often than not, you discover that those boundaries are much further out than you believed. You might think, I can't handle rejection, until you face it and realize you survived. You might think, I can't take risks, until you take one and watch it open new doors. It's important to understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. The most courageous people in the world still feel fear. They've just learned not to let it control them. They treat fear as a companion on the journey, not as a jailer. In fact, many of them actively seek situations that scare them because they know that's where the growth is hiding. There's a concept in personal development called a fear chasing. It means deliberately putting yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable, so you can expand your capacity to handle them. This might mean striking up a conversation with a stranger, volunteering for a challenge at work, or trying something completely outside your skill set. Over time, you realize that fear is not an immovable wall. It's a doorway that opens wider each time you step through it. And here's something remarkable. Every time you face fear, you not only grow stronger, but you also inspire others. People watch your bravery and think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Your courage becomes a permission slip for others to confront their own fears. In this way, pushing through fear doesn't just change your life, it can ripple out to change the lives of many. Fear will always be part of the human experience. You can't eliminate it completely, but you can redefine your relationship with it. Instead of treating fear as a stop sign, you can start treating it as a green light, an indicator that you're moving towards something worth doing. Because in almost every case, the life you want, the skills you admire, and the opportunities you dream of are all waiting for you, just on the other side of fear. When life knocks you down, it can be easy to think the story is over. A failed project, a lost opportunity, a broken relationship, these moments can feel like the end of the road. But in truth, a setback is rarely the final chapter. More often, it's a pause in the story, a moment where life is rearranging the pieces so you can return stronger, smarter, and more prepared than before. A setback is not a signal to quit. It's an invitation to adjust. Sometimes you need to take a step back to see the bigger picture. What feels like a delay might actually be a redirection towards something better. It's like being on a mountain trail and finding a fallen tree blocking your way. You might have to backtrack, find another route, or climb over it. A path changes, but the destination remains possible. History is filled with examples of people who turned crushing setbacks into legendary comebacks. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, only to become one of the greatest athletes in history. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job for lacking creativity, then went on to build one of the most imaginative empires in the world. Oprah Winfrey was demoted from her early TV job, but that setback led her to the path that made her one of the most influential women alive. The key to turning a setback into a comeback lies in perspective. If you see a failure as proof that you're not good enough, you stop trying. But if you see it as feedback, information about what didn't work, You turn it into a stepping stone. A setback becomes a teacher, showing you the mistakes to avoid, the skills to improve, and the strategies to refine. It's also important to remember that progress is rarely a straight line. We like to imagine success as a smooth upward climb, but in reality, it's a jagged path of highs and lows. Every low point has the potential to become a launch pad, only if you keep moving. Think about a bow and arrow. The further the arrow is pulled back, the more power it has when it's released. That backward motion is not defeat, it's preparation for a stronger launch forward. Setbacks also build resilience. Each time you recover from a disappointment, you strengthen your ability to handle the next one. Hui? You learn that the world doesn't end when things go wrong. You develop the mental toughness to keep showing up even when it's hard. And this resilience becomes one of your greatest advantages because most people give up after the first or second failure. If you can outlast them, you've already set yourself apart. Another truth about setbacks is that they often reveal hidden strengths and opportunities. Sometimes losing one path forces you to discover another that's even better. A failed business might lead you to a new idea that works far better. A job loss might push you to start the career you always dreamed of, but never had the courage to begin. A relationship ending might give you the space to grow into the person you were meant to be before finding the right partner. Even nature reflects this principle. When a forest is destroyed by fire, it looks like devastation. But that fire clears the ground, making way for stronger trees, richer soil, and new growth. Without the destruction, the renewal wouldn't happen. In the same way, your setbacks may be clearing the path for something you couldn't have achieved otherwise. It's worth noting that the greatest comebacks often happen not in spite of the setback, but because of it. The pain, the lessons, the hunger to prove yourself, they fuel the energy and determination that drive your return. Without that low point, you might never have found the fire inside you to reach higher. Turning a setback into a comeback requires a shift in mindset. You have to stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? The why looks backward, keeping you stuck in frustration and self-pity. The what now looks forward, focusing on solutions, next steps, and new opportunities. That forward focus is what transforms a loss into a launch. And perhaps the most powerful part of a comeback is that it changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who failed, and you start seeing yourself as someone who rose. You carry the pride of knowing that when life tried to break you, you rebuilt. When the world counted you out, you came back in, and that identity, the identity of a fighter, stays with you forever. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They choose the easier path, the familiar routine, the predictable day. It's natural. We're wired to seek comfort because it feels safe. But here's the truth. Comfort rarely leads to growth. It keeps you the same. If you want to change, improve, and reach your true potential, you have to step into discomfort because that's where transformation happens. Think about the first time you tried to learn something new, a sport, an instrument, a skill. You probably felt awkward, unsure, and maybe even embarrassed. That awkwardness is discomfort. It's your mind and body working through something unfamiliar. If you pushed through it, you eventually became better, more confident, and more capable. But if you avoided it, you stayed exactly where you were. Discomfort is the sign that you're stretching yourself. Just like a muscle grows only when it's challenged with resistance, your mind and spirit grow when they face challenges. Without that pressure, there's no reason for change. Your brain has no need to rewire. Your habits have no need to improve, and your character has no reason to deepen. We can see this principle everywhere in nature. A chick struggles to break out of its eggshell, and that struggle strengthens the muscles it will need to survive. If you break the shell for it, it may not live because it missed the very process that builds its strength. In the same way, the moments in life that make you sweat, shake, or second-guess yourself are the same moments that are preparing you for the next stage of your journey. Discomfort also forces you to confront your limits, both real and imagined. Many of the limits you believe you have are not physical truths, but mental barriers. They're boundaries your mind has created to keep you safe from risk, embarrassment, or failure. When you step into discomfort, you test those boundaries and often discover they were much further out than you thought. It's important to understand that discomfort is not the same as danger. Danger means harm is likely. Discomfort means growth is likely. Many people confuse the two and avoid discomfort as if it were a threat. But in reality, discomfort is simply a signal that you're moving into new territory. It's the feeling of your old self stretching to make room for the new. One of the best ways to create lasting transformation is to intentionally seek discomfort. This doesn't mean making reckless decisions or putting yourself in harmful situations. It means choosing challenges that push you just beyond your comfort zone, enough to make you uncomfortable, but not so much that you break. Over time, your comfort zone expands, and the things that once scared you become second nature. Consider someone who's afraid of public speaking. Their first speech might be terrifying. Their hands shake, their voice trembles, and their mind races. But if they keep speaking, once, twice, 10 times, they gradually feel more at ease. What was once deeply uncomfortable becomes something they can handle with confidence. This transformation didn't happen in comfort. It happened because they stayed in the zone of discomfort until it became familiar. Discomfort also develops resilience. Every time you face something difficult and come out on the other side, you build the belief that you can handle whatever comes next. This self-trust is one of the most valuable assets you can have in life. It allows you to take risks, pursue big goals, and face uncertainty with courage. Without the experiences of discomfort, you never develop that trust in yourself. It's also worth noting that discomfort strips away illusions. When you're comfortable, it's easy to believe you're doing well simply because nothing is challenging you. But when you step into discomfort, you see exactly where your weaknesses are. This awareness might sting, but it's the first step to improvement. You can't strengthen what you won't acknowledge. Transformation is never instant. It's the result of countless moments where you choose growth over comfort. It's the extra rep at the gym when your muscles are burning. It's the late night study session when your brain is tired. It's the honest conversation when silence would be easier. Each choice to lean into discomfort is a vote for the person you want to become, not the person you are now. And here's something powerful. Discomfort doesn't just transform your abilities, it transforms your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who can face hard things, who doesn't run from challenges, who can adapt and overcome. That self-image becomes a source of power in every area of your life. In the grand story of your life, the chapters that will inspire others, and even yourself the most, are not the easy ones. They are the chapters where you stood against the storm, when the odds were stacked against you, when quitting seemed like the only option, but you chose to rise anyway. That is where greatness is born. No victory is ever as sweet as the one earned through sweat, tears, and persistence. Every scar you carry tells a story of a battle you refuse to lose. And remember, the pain of pushing through is temporary, but the pride of overcoming lasts forever. So keep going, keep believing, keep fighting. Because the person you are becoming on this journey is far more important than the destination itself. And when you finally look back, you'll realize pushing through wasn't just about reaching the goal. It was about becoming unstoppable.